welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My next guest, real funny comic, was on briefly Friday night. I said, we got to give him more time. This guy's a sports comic, which I love, right up the show's alley. Mr. Jason Lawhead is back. Cleveland's own, correct?
Cleveland's own.
Yeah, I was just in Cleveland. I've done Cleveland a bunch of times. I love that town. It's a hardcore town, man.
It is, man. It's a hardcore town. Sports-wise, we've just been kicked in the spleen, gut, everything.
I think about Boston, all the stuff. Cleveland still.
I argue with Bill Burr all the time. He's like, "Well, we took a solo. How many? You had 16 NBA titles. The whole time you were crying about a ball rolling through one guy's legs."
Well, Red Sox. That's why the Red Sox baseball is still that thing that fathers and sons. They pass it down to one another. They still winning at Fenway Park was a big deal.
Yeah, no, it was.
But Cleveland is. You got to be a loyal, real guy to stay there. I like it,
Yeah, it's been it's a great.
Do you hate LeBron?
I hate LeBron still today.
Yeah.
How he did it, what he did, and just all you need to know about LeBron, in my opinion, is that he's going to leave Miami after standing on that stage the day after he did the decision, claiming it's not 6, not 7, not 8. He's going to opt out after 4 years, and he's going to go somewhere else. Probably.
What if he comes back to Cleveland?
Yeah. What about that?
I don't think he will. I mean, I'm a Cleveland fan. First off, now.
So that you will like him again?
I will. I'm a Cleveland fan.
Okay, so if he comes back, you hate him now, but you will love him then?
I will expect it immediately. You know what I mean? Like, and no more quitting, no more taking your jersey off at the Garden if we lose Game 7 of the East. No, the one thing is I can't go through that again. You know what I mean? Like,
so you're saying that if you come here, you better be ready to win.
You better be ready to win right now. We got a point guard. We got a couple other guys coming, but he's not.
But you've never won. You can't expect winning right now when you've never won ever in anything. He
left us. We were back-to-back best record in the NBA 2 years in a row, regular season, although that doesn't win championships. And, we went out and got guys. He asked us to get a center. Sure, Shaq, but we got Shaq after a great year in Phoenix. He was an all-star year, led the league in field goal percentage. Obviously wasn't the L.A. Lakers Shaq, but we went out there and spent a bunch of money, and he held what bothers me about it is he held the franchise hostage. He never let us know what was going on.
Oh, no, that was
they colluded.
He milked it.
He milked it. Him and Wade and Bosh colluded that whole thing at the Olympics 2 years before. And, Wade they colluded that whole thing. They didn't come out with anything because Wade wasn't sure if he was going to stay in Miami. They were all traveling with Wade. Wade was thinking about going to Chicago, but then all of a sudden in that 2-year span, Derrick Rose showed up.
Right.
And there was no outlet for him there, so they decided to keep that show in Miami.
There is now for him.
Well, yeah, now. So that's
Bulls
why I think
Dwayne Wade now.
No, Dwayne Wade's done. I think LeBron's going to Chicago.
Is that what you think? Dan Filato, Chicago guy. Did you hear that? Have you heard rumors?
I think he's going. I think he can go to L.A. first.
I don't think he wants that.
That's such a cliche.
But that's
Can one guy not go to L.A.? Go to Chicago. What the hell? How about New York?
But what can you do if you're LeBron? Do you go to Chicago when you know the kind of shoes you'd have to fill there? Maybe unfillable shoes.
I think the time. I think enough. I think enough times passed. I think enough times passed, and
he's already got a couple of championships. People look. Sports Illustrated or somebody just put him on the cover as being arguably the best ever over Jordan now. And the stats of his first 10 years are pretty amazing.
They are amazing.
But I'm a Jordan guy.
I'm a Kareem guy.
Kareem isn't talked about enough.
Here's the one thing about the basketball. If you need to get 2, that's what the game's about.
He's a center. Get 2. The dominant centers aren't talked about enough.
I got to get 2 points at the end of the game. I got to stop 2 at the goal, and I got to get 2 at the goal. I'm going to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That skyhook was unbeatable.
Untouchable.
Unbeatable.
And he could shoot free throws at a high percentage.
Yeah, he wasn't like Will Chamberlain in that, or Shaq in that sense. All right, so now in your repertoire, what would you like to do now? You said you came with a John.
Well, I know you love the Autumn Wind poem.
Yes,
and this guy, so we got a Raider here.
Right, that's true.
I mean, what's going on? So I grew up in that era of, the first memories of sports was John Facenda and the NFL films,
Me too.
And it was always the greatest. I mean, the Autumn Wind poem was written by Steve Sable. A lot of people don't know that.
He was such a classically interested music and poetry type guy.
Yeah, he wrote that book.
He knew so much. Yeah.
And filmmaker.
Well, him and his dad won over 100 Emmys. People don't realize that NFL Films won over 100 Emmys. And
they took everything to another level. And it was just meticulously chosen music.
Yeah, I mean, filmmakers say that they learned how to make films by watching the way NFL Films slowed things up, like westerns, the spaghetti western
slow
guy.
motion.
Yeah. all of that stuff.
It was used brilliantly.
You know, and that's what they did with that Raider Autumn Wind poem was that slow motion. That then they just, it was amazing because he would just. Then you heard that, that music back there. It was amazing, and then you heard, the autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea with a rollicking song. He sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver cap about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he roams the country, a villain, big and bold, and the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you around and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
Yeah. I got chills.
Right?
And then multiply.
But he was amazing. My favorite one is, I don't know.
I want to know the other guys who were on the audition for the NFL Films voiceover. Right? Like when they heard for Sunday, they go, we got a couple other guys, Steve. Yeah. I think we got him.
I think we got this guy. I think we got this guy. And he was there. You know, and the ironic thing is the last NFL films he did before he died was the Raiders' last Super Bowl, Marcus Allen in '83, and he died in the offseason, and Harry Callis took over.
Right.
Harry Callis.
And not bad, but he's not for Sunday.
No, he's not for Sunday.
I remember him talking about that, where it was the third Super Bowl for the Raiders. He said the Raiders once again had prevailed and stood alone at Football Summit.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. Right? You had the good one. You've honed it over to you.
I've loved it.
My favorite one ever was, I don't know if I have it word for word, but he did an Earl Campbell one time where he goes, Houston's Earl Campbell. And the music goes.
Earl Campbell was the greatest.
Amazing. Houston's Earl Campbell leveled the chief defense like a Texas tornado through a Kansas farmhouse. It's just unbelievable.
Well, we used to make them up. Me and my buddy used to make up stuff. He never did Lawrence Taylor, so I made up a Lawrence Taylor one for him. They called the Titanic unsinkable. They called Randall Cunningham unsackable. The Titanic hit an iceberg in the North Atlantic. Randall Cunningham hit an outside linebacker in North New Jersey.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I got chills from that one.
Yeah, we used to make them up.
That was great.
But there's nothing. Well, who does it now? Because he's dead. Callis, right?
Callis is dead. I don't know. The guy he's got that kind of
who's the NFL
syrupy
Films
voice.
guy now? Yeah.
Isn't
I don't know.
I think I used to do games with him for
the guy who does it
CAA.
now.
Yeah.
Really? Because that's talk about shoes to fill.
Yeah, right.
Callis was a legendary guy, but
we got to look into that.
I think there was one guy that tried to do an outright impression of him, and it was sickening.
It was bad.
It was bad. And the guy, was hung out to dry because you don't do that. You can't do an impression of the guy.
No, you can't go, it'd be like me doing an Artie Lange impression.
Well, I like the Fred Flintstone guy. I remember the new Flintstones. There was a guy trying to do Fred, and Mel Blanc, when he died, his kid took over. And his kid was all right, but he wasn't Mel Blanc,
And somebody else tried to do a Kermit the Frog after John Henson died. They tried to milk that Kermit the Frog guy.
Let it be.
Let it go.
Let it be, yeah. Now, what else sports-wise? What's your favorite sport? Baseball?
No, basketball. I'm actually wearing my,
I was gonna say,
my podcast is Lawhead's Court. My dad was a legendary high school coach in Ohio, won over 500 games. And
no kidding.
Yeah, so this is kind of the namesake, the podcast. Yeah, he was at the same high school. He graduated from a high school called St. Mary's. It was an old parish school. Then he took the job there at 24 out of high school and turned that into a winner. But in 1969, after like 7 years of being the head coach, they had to build a bigger Catholic high school, so they built a school called Lorraine Catholic. And
I've played Lorraine, Ohio.
Yeah, the Palace.
Man, that's
a tough town. That's an old steel town.
Tough town, man.
Tough town, right?
Cleveland looks like Malibu. You want to get back to Cleveland? I flew into Cleveland.
There's a lot of people in Lorraine watching right now, I'm sure. But it's a great. It's a good town to be from. There's really good people from there.
Definitely tough.
Yeah, tough
people.
town though.
Yeah.
We lost the steel industry. We lost the automobile industry.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, Lorraine, Ohio. I went to Lorraine Catholic. So our big emblem in the center of the floor was LC, Lorraine Catholic, but it got affectionately known as Lawhead's Court because my dad was the head coach there for 39 years.
Cool.
And so basketball is that's my love and breed. I I coached a few years when I was younger
Wow.
at the freshman level for my dad, and then my brother took over. Matt took over when my dad retired in the 2000 season. Unfortunately, the school closed, like so many things did in 2004.
Right. I remember you driving through Lorraine when I
yeah.
did that gig there. You're like, wow, who's still here? And you have respect for the people who still stay. You really do have respect for people who hang around there.
Yeah,
But what is, when the mills close, what is it? What do you do?
There's really nothing. I mean, as far as like a vocal industry there's really nothing. I mean, it's sad. It's kind of a rental place. It's a lot of elderly because the families moved out. The school systems kind of got bad.
An elderly person trapped in
yeah,
a town
and it's just like old homes that are just like, the old people are dying and they're either vacant or they're being rented out to. It's tough. I mean,
feel like you're in the middle of a Bruce Springsteen song when you
yeah,
say.
you really do. Yeah, it's like a Bruce Springsteen John Mellencamp festival right there.
Yeah,
it's like that, So, but it's a great, the people there are still really rooted people and loyal people, and I wouldn't have it. I'm so glad I'm from there, and I go back there and I do shows, once or twice a year. Do fundraisers. My dad's a cancer survivor, so we've done all that kind of good stuff.
Your father's still around. That's good.
Still around, yeah. My parents just celebrated 53 years. They dated in high school, and I'm the youngest of 7.
Wow.
So, yeah.
All right. Well,
right? Yeah.
I respect it. Right. Well, we've got to take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more with the great Jason Lawhead.
The Artie Lange Show. Weeknights on Audience. Only on DirecTV.